Thank you for joining us, and thank you for for joining us today. Today we are going to be looking at home office statistics that have just come up, and especially in the in relation to naturalization application, British citizenship applications. There has been a very interesting pattern, and the nationalities who are rushing to register to become British nationals. It's going to be fantastic. Let's just pay attention to detail to what we are trying to do. You are going to benefit from a big deal. Sometimes I hear people saying that if you have indefinite, it's the same as British citizenship. I beg to differ. I don't agree to that sentiment, and I will tell you why in a minute. Also, we will be looking at skilled work interviews. I will take my time and go through the interviews, the likely questions, why they call people for interviews, and basically when you are asked a question, how to answer these questions. It's very interesting from my own observation, from my own from experience, what I have observed from a lot of applicants or candidates, where they are asked a very simple question, and the answers that they give sometimes is just off track or sometimes over the board. It's very important that you pay attention to what you are asked and then you answer it accordingly. I will give a bit of tips and hints on how to prepare for these interviews. Of late, it has become very common for people applying for skilled work as a charity worker, as a religious worker, as a student, to be called for an interview. Home Office have upped their game that they are asking a lot of people to come to interview. So we will be looking at that as well, and the best way to approach such interviews. Anyone will say that preparation is always the key. You must always prepare for such interviews. Today, I will take my time and go through. If you've just joined us for the first time, bear with us. At the right time, we will pick you up and then you can talk. Over the last couple of weeks, we have had people just coming in just to disturb the show. And for that reason, as I sit here, I can see them trying to get in, but they cannot get in because of the way I have set it up. So by all means, if you've come in and you are unable to join the program, just keep watching. When the time is up, by all means, we will do what? We will activate the telephone lines. If you have joined us, I believe that now you can share the program, because TikTok has given me the hint that I can tell you to basically to share the program. So if you are watching, okay, so if you are watching, then by all means you can share the program for us. Thank you very much for that. And so we'll be looking at interviews, why they call people for interviews. If you are called for interview, how do you prepare for such interviews? We are going to be looking at real life examples and to guide you. The last bit that we will talk about is there a chance for people who came to the United Kingdom unlawfully? I call it under the sea. That means they were not tracked, or they did not have a visa to come to the United Kingdom. Maybe they've been living here for so long, now they've been able to find ways and means to be able to, if you like to regularize their stay or to get indefinite. The next step is apply for British citizenship. But in the light of their announcement last year that people who enter the UK illegally, the application for naturalization will normally be reviews. Is there any chance or is there any point for these people to make applications from the first place? Let's just share the program to all people on our contact list, and then when we come back, we start the program. Thank you very much once again for joining us. Let's go through the program once again. We are going to be talking about skilled workers interview, why people are called for interview, and how to prepare for the interview. We are going to be looking at that. Number 2, we are also going to be looking at some home office statistics and to see patterns of the type of applications that people make, the refusal rate. And for me, I've always advised people, if at all possible, apply for your British citizenship. The reality is that indefinite is very similar to British citizenship, but it's not the same. There are advantages, responsibilities, and benefits of holding the British passport. The obvious one is traveling and coming back to the UK. At the airport, when you get there, you will see that British nationals to the right hand side, other nationals to the left hand side. And if you are holding British passport, it takes 1 minute just to tap and go, just like the train station. But if you are not holding British passport, you have to go in a queue. And sometimes you may be subjected to humiliation interview. It's a choice that people have. Some people think it's okay to go through all the humiliation. Some people may think, no, why should I have to go through this if there's a better way of, sorting myself out? It's a matter of choice that people have. I'm not here to impose anything on anyone, but we will give the best advice that we can. And I believe that, people will also listen to this advice because it's for their own good. And then we will also look at the third one. Just one moment. We will Mr. Tesla, a church of a we'll also be looking at naturalization, people who entered illegally, whether there is any chance for them to apply for British citizenship and whether they can be successful. Sometimes, life is one big road, and someone will say it's full of signs, and when you hit the rut, don't complicate your mind. Okay, so let's start the program. I think the first thing that I would like to talk about today is health and safety. Very, very important. In the UK, the summer is here with us, and the weather is very, 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 very hot. A lot of people are struggling to sleep because of the hot weather, and therefore everyone must take precaution, in terms of finding safest ways to cool our temperature. That's all that I can say. And also, when you are walking down the road, be very, very aware of your surroundings. It's very, very important. Be very, very aware of your surroundings. Many a times I see youngsters, iPod and earphones, and they are just on their phones, not looking anywhere, not looking where they are going. We really have to be very, very careful. When we are crossing the road, you need to do your checks to make sure that it is safe before you cross the road. I've seen people crossing the road without checking nothing, which is very, very dangerous. Also, anywhere that you are, make sure that all the time you are looking around you, who is coming closer to you. Watch out, because you never know. Just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was at the London Underground, just walking and minding my business. And for me, I'm very, very watchful, and I'm always very, very alert. When I see danger, many a times I spot it for miles. Whether it's closer or it's far, I see it. That is the gift that maybe I've been given by the Nyabinghi. I'm able to speculate. I'm able to see certain things before it happens. Everyone has got their own gift. Everyone has got their own talent. And for me, I believe that that's one of my talents, because there's nothing that I will predict that it will not come to pass. 9 out of 10, I will get it correct. So whilst I was at the underground, believe in me, I just felt someone's presence coming towards me. The energy that I was getting was a very negative energy. So I was very, very alert. Before I knew, this gentleman who is coming opposite from nowhere, I kind of saw that something nasty was about to go down. So I stiffened my chest like that. Before I knew, the person chested me. And that if I wasn't stiff, if I hadn't prepared, no doubt I could have ended up in the trucks. And you would have heard that Leadakom maybe has been electrocuted. So that is the reason why I'm saying that people have to be watchful and be careful. Because there are so many people around us that may suffer from mental health issues. You may not be able to say it directly, but believe in me, there are so many people who are not well in the head. They have issues, but they are among our midst. In Ghana, when someone is not well, most of the time it's so obvious that you can see. But in the Babylon, they will smile in your face. They will be polite in your face. But the opportunity comes, they will push you to danger. That is why I say you have to be very, very careful around your surroundings. Because if I wasn't watchful, and if I wasn't looking around, if I wasn't scanning, if I did not anticipate the force that the gentleman used, I could have ended up in the trucks. But I am protected by the Spirit of the Most High. I saw it coming. I was able to prepare myself. So when he chested me, he bounced back. He realized that this is a slim macho. Allah vim yayi kajikonani. It didn't work. He bounced back. When I look around, off. Oh yeah, he was gone. So that is the reason why precaution must come first. You must always be aware of your surroundings. The sad thing is, someone could just end your life. And then the law will say that the person is not guilty on the grounds of insanity. The person will be sentenced for manslaughter or will be sectioned under the Mental Health Act. 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, he's back. Your life is for 5 years of someone's incarceration. That is the reason why you need to look after number one. That is yourself. It's very, very, very important. Because sometimes the law is a joke. Someone can commit murder. And yet, some excuses will be, will be worked out for the person, and the person will be out there within some few years. So for me, it is vital that you yourself, you take care of yourself. And you make sure that you are aware of your surroundings all the time. you are aware of your surroundings all the time. One thing that I also want to point out is that in this country, you cannot commit a crime, or you cannot get yourself in deviancy and think that you get away with it. Because nobody gets away with deviancy or crime. One day, it will catch up with you. So play fair, play decent, be law-abiding citizens, and stay away from crime and deviancy. Because the punishment for crime and deviancy is forever torture. Because you pay either incarceration or through the rules of nature and karma. So for me, it's very, very important that you do the best that you can. Be a conscious man as much as you can, and a woman, and just simply do the right thing. Doing the right thing doesn't cost, but doing the wrong thing can cost you your life. Lifetime of incarceration. Just last week, a lady was convicted for an offense that has taken place in 1968 or so. And this lady apparently was a stepmother to these two children. And according to some sources, irresponsible father abandoned them on this young lady. The lady was about 16, 17 at the time. And according to the records, she ran a hot bath and forced the stepchild to go into it. In the end, the stepchild suffered burns. At the time, it was ruled to be an accident. Fast forward, the deceased brother, some few years ago, went to the police and reported the incident to the police, that it wasn't an accident. And through investigation, in the end, this lady has been convicted. And apparently this lady is even an author, someone who writes books. So sometimes we think we've got away with murder, but time always catch up with us. So let's be careful out there. If you are planning of doing anything, look at the law. Is it against the law? If it's not against the law, look at morality. Is it perverse? Is it wrong? Is it deviancy? Is it something that I cannot do in the light? If I cannot do it in the light, why should I go and do it in the dark? Nature and karma has a way of showing its ugly head or nice head. This lady thought that she has got away with it. Maybe it was an accident, nobody knows. But the fact that she's been taken to court and convicted, now we can safely say that she is guilty. So we need to be very, very careful about these things. Now, let's look at naturalization. Let me start from the back to the front. Naturalization is a process where a citizen of another country make an application to apply to become a citizen of the United Kingdom, i.e., for our purposes. Because I am in the United Kingdom. That's the reason why I've said it the way I've said it. So it's a process where you submit an application, you want to become a British citizen, and therefore if you like, you do your life in the UK test, and your English test level be well, and you want to become a British citizen. There are other requirements that you must also be able to, what do we call it, to meet. So it's all good. But we know that there is a political party called Reform, headed by Nigel Farage, who argues that it's too far easy for people to obtain British citizenship and for them to also benefit too easily from the UK welfare system. In his mind and his followers' mind, they have to bring in some policies that will make it more tougher for people to become British citizens. They also believe that the benefit system is too easy for foreign nationals to come to the United Kingdom and claim benefit. The statistics out there suggest that it's the other way around. In fact, foreign nationals in the United Kingdom put in more than what they claim. But yet, for political purposes, the argument has always been that the foreigners are taking our jobs. The foreigners are taking our benefits. The foreigners are taking our housing. And it's not only British nationals who are saying that. Before Brexit in 2016, even people who were foreigners were arguing that Europeans are coming to take our jobs. They are coming to take our housing. They are coming to take our benefit. The question that I used to ask these people is that how many jobs have you created since you come to this country that people from Europe have come in to take? How many houses have you built that people from Europe they've come to take from you? And I would say 10 out of 10, no one was able to give me an answer. They would then flip the question, hey, lawyer, are you defending these people? I'm thinking, what do you mean by these people? They are human beings like you. They've come in the same way that you have come in. And in some cases, they have come in legal because of free movement of goods and services and people. Maybe you now complaining, you came in illegal. Just by his grace, you have managed to get your status, and now you are pointing the fingers. Look at the kettle, calling the pot black. You know, we try to educate people, but people were hell-bent in voting for Brexit, which we have accepted. And the consequences, some of the consequences, is now what we are facing. Some of the challenges is now what we are facing. So, Nigel Farage and Co., the Reform Party, this is just a drift of what some of their proposals. Now, they argue that now the route to settlement is too easy. We need to increase it. We need to double it. So instead of 5 years, some people may complete 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years even before they can obtain their indefinite and their citizenship. This is the manifesto of the Reform Party. Recently, they also announced, if you are not British citizen, you cannot claim benefit. Oh yeah. I can see the political pressure that the Reform is putting on both Labour and the Conservative. Because whether we like it or not, whether opinion polls are accurate or not, it gives an indication of what is about to happen and what is happening. And currently, as we stand, if there's going to be a general election now, there is likely that the Reform will actually come to power. Ceteris paribus. all things being equal. So we need to understand this, that there is every possibility that reform could come to power. Some people are optimistic. They will say that, oh, it's unlikely. Or the vote that are going to them is a protest vote. What if there's a general election and there's a protest vote? What do you think is going to happen? They will come to power. Adolf Hitler, Germany, during the 1930s, when he started off, when he started slaughtering people, people thought, oh, it will not go far. Before they realized millions of people are being killed. So don't just sit there and think that is it. Everything is all right. You know, because you never know. So now, if they are coming up with all these proposals and they come to power, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be more harder for you and I to apply for British citizenship. Why? Because British citizenship comes with benefits. It comes with benefits, state protection, consular services, airport, even at their workplace. Once you show your British passport, they will never ask you to bring evidence of your right to be in the UK and the right to work. But if you're holding indefinite or limited leave to remain, every 3 months, they're going to be asking you to bring your share code, just to prove that you are still eligible to work in the United Kingdom. When you travel and you go outside and you are coming back in at the airport, we all know what are going on. They can stop you, they can detain you, they can interview you. As long as you are a foreign national, you will not be treated the same way as a British citizen will be treated at the port of entry. Regardless of your take on this, that is the sad reality. And therefore the question is, if I come in illegal, now I have my indefinite. Last year, the government made an announcement that those who entered the UK illegally, unlawfully, undocumentedly, when they make an application for British citizenship, such application will usually or normally be refused. Is it worth it for me to go and try my luck? Justice and Law Solicitors, God has been good to us. Jaja, yes. I mean, we've been doing application for people who entered illegally. Whilst the rules makes it very, very clear that such application will normally be refused. In fact, since the law came into effect in February 2025, all the naturalization applications that we have done, only 2 of them have been refused. One of them was that the individual had a criminal record and he was sentenced to prison about years ago. Despite everything that we said, the caseworker said, we don't care, you have a criminal record, and therefore we are not going to grant you British citizenship because under character test you fail. But if you look at the character test, basically, if you've been sentenced to imprisonment for more than 12 months, then it's serious. This individual was sentenced to 6 months. And therefore, for me, even though it's a prison sentence, it's serious and so on and so forth, it's not as serious as someone who has been sentenced to 12 months or more. So in my view, the application should have been granted. But the Home Office said, no, we are not going to grant it. But you know me, I never give up. Me, when I stop a fight, I don't stop. I will fight to the end. When I'm seeking the truth, I will investigate and investigate and investigate until I discover the truth. That is me. I don't give up. It can take me 10 years, 15 years, 14 years, 20 years. I can assure you, I never give up because I don't give up a fight. And it's not now that I'm going to give up a fight. Yes. So therefore, for me, you don't sit there and say that, well, it says you will normally be refused, so I'm not going to try. For me, I think it's a fight that is worth fighting. And the person that has been refused, we have lodged an application for reconsideration. And we have demonstrated to the Secretary of State why we believe the decision is wrong. Yes, we accept that the individual had been sentenced to prison in the past. He has served his sentence. Then if people cannot be forgiven, then what is the purpose of the Rehabilitation of the Offenders Act of 1976 as amended? The rules also say that if someone commits an offense and the person pays his punishment, why is it that you are coming to punish the person again? This is called double jeopardy. So this is an argument that we have advanced. And the reconsideration is under consideration. I am very, 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 very hopeful that we will succeed in this case. And this character test issue, there is a case that is coming up in June at the higher court or the Court of Appeal, where Wilson and Co. solicitors have taken the case to the court, thinking that the whole idea that it will normally be refused is unconstitutional, and therefore the court must intervene. One of their clients made an application for British citizenship. Application was refused. Following the refusal, then the individual had applied for reconsideration. Reconsideration got refused. The individual said, look, me not gonna give up, me I go fight you. So the case now proceeded to the higher court, and they made an application for permission to appeal for judicial review, which has been granted. And now there's going to be a showdown between the Secretary of State and these individuals at the higher court this coming June. So I remember someone coming to see me, and I explained all this to the individual. And I said, well, look, I believe that between now and June is around the corner. And therefore, maybe you should wait, pending the outcome of that application. And then we can take it from there. Because I did not want to just put in too much application, knowing that this is an albatross hanging on our neck. And in the end, he agreed, which was a good move. So we wait to see the outcome of this decision. And whatever happens from that angle, you know your honorable servant, David Darko of Justice and Law Solicitors, we will bring it to you as usual on our Saturday programs. So it's very, very important that we understand this. As I speak to you about 2 days ago, someone who also entered illegally, I explained, I put in mitigation, and Home Office have granted. You see, so this is what some of the problems associated with discretion. When you give a discretion to individuals, it leads to inconsistency because you don't know what you're going to get. And as a lawyer with about, 19 years of standing, from 2007, 2026, no, 19 years, not 17, 19 years post-qualification experience. It will bring you order. Like I was telling someone that it felt like yesterday when I secured a legal job at Southwest Magistrate Court at Clapham Junction in the year 2001. Now I look back 25 years now. since I started my legal career. So it's not a joke. 25 solid years, a quarter of a decade, been working within the field of law. You know, so experience also comes for something. So when you come in and you are paying our fees, don't cry. Be happy to pay it, because it's through tears and hard labor that we are come this far. By Jah being so good, opening doors for us, and we will keep pushing until the very last day that everyone in this country has been able to regularize their stay. And at that point, I will say, servant, you done your job. You serve your quota. And the world will remember you for your little contribution to humanity. So that is how it is. The other one was illegal entry. Not one, but twice. This individual was deported, came in illegally, he was deported, and then he came back again and still got deported, and he still come back again, and the person has now got his papers, indefinite leave to remain. Then the question was, therefore, Home Office was like, no, you have breached our law and disrespected us twice. And for that reason, I'm not going to grant it. And even that, because when this policy was first introduced, about 10 years, or about 17, 18 years ago by the Labour government, I remember, there was a staunch opposition. And the Home Secretary was something Byrne, B-Y-R-N-A. Is it Nigel? No, something like that. I can't remember the name. But I remember the Byrne, or B-U-R-N, something like that. People pressurized him to the point that he said that this law will not apply to refugees. And then Home Office introduced a policy that after 10 years, then illegal entry will be deemed to be waived off. And then between 2020 to 2021, they decided that no, it's got to be 5 years. And then now they're saying that it will normally be refused. These are some of the patterns and the changes that has come into fold. But all that I say is this. If there is a chance, I say that I will take my chance. Because I'm not going to sit there and say, what if I had known? And you know what they say? Had I known is the philosophy of the unwise. So for me, I think it's worth it. Someone will say, yeah, but it's a lot of money. Oh yes, it's a lot of money, no doubt. I'm not going to dispute that. But the price to pay is very, very small compared to not doing it and having problems. Because when you have indefinite, one of the most annoying thing about indefinite is that once you leave the United Kingdom, every 2 years, if you don't come within the United Kingdom within 2-year period, your indefinite will be revoked by the Secretary of State. And I've seen people going through a lot of challenges. I know someone who is forced to come to the United Kingdom. Every 2 years, the person will come on Friday and leave on Sunday so that he does not lose his indefinite leave to remain. This individual now has got children in Ghana, running a very, very successful business, and wouldn't even want to bother to come to the United Kingdom or to stay here. But for whatever reason, he still wants to maintain his connections to the United Kingdom. And this person is having to come to the United Kingdom every 2 years. Sometimes he comes in Friday, goes on Sunday. So the only day that he sees is Saturday in the United Kingdom. It's a decision that he made, and it's a decision that he's regretting. Because when I was advising him to wait and get his British passport, he did not wait. He decided that I'm going to go anyway. You know, though he's in Ghana, he's had children. The children are not British. The children cannot obtain British passport. And he does not have any intention of coming to the United Kingdom. I remember one time you called me and said, oh, I want to apply for British passport for my children. And I'm asking myself, how can you apply for British passport for your children? It's not possible because you are not British in order to be able to pass it on to your children. If you were living in the United Kingdom with indefinite and your children are born in the United Kingdom, then you could have, registered, you could have applied for British passport for them, I believe. Yes, because the children are born here, you had indefinite before the children were being born, and in that case, they qualify under BNA 1981. But in this case, if the child is born outside the United Kingdom, the parent must have a British passport in order for the child to benefit from it. And therefore, the children that the person is got, they cannot be British. They are not British, and therefore they cannot get British passport. But it's a choice that was made, and therefore that is the consequences that you have to face. Now, okay, so mommy me home, baby, I knew you. Right.
Well, don't just sit.
So basically that is how it is. So for me, it's very, very important that you are able to get your status, get your British passport, and then you wash your hand. You know that you don't have any issue with immigration. I believe that that is the best way forward. So if you have your indefinite, don't just sit there. Do the best that you can and apply for your British passport and have your peace of mind. And have your peace of mind. Now let's look at some statistics. This is from the Home Office, and this statistics is based on the Quota immigration statistics across different types of visa applications. Asylum claims. The government is saying that there has been fewer migrants generally, fewer asylum claims, fewer small boats crossings, fewer students application, fewer family members, and fewer workers. The government says net migration stood at 171,000 for the year 2025, according to the Office for National Statistics. And it says that it continued to fall from a peak of 944,000. So that means from 944,000 has reduced dramatically to 171,000. That is what the government is telling us. So that is the official figures. According to the National Office for National Statistics. So now, the figures, we're going to go through one by one. And for me, what is interesting is application for naturalization, the way it's going up, and the type of countries, their nationals who are applying to become British citizens. You will be surprised. You will be shocked. And some of these countries, citizens from those countries, someone will argue that their economy is even better than the United Kingdom. But yet, they are in the UK working. They have, basically adopted the UK as their home. And they don't want any palaver by any party in the future. And therefore, they have decided that they are going to do what? They are going to apply for British citizenship. Now, let's look at some figures, some statistics. Asylum claims fell by 12%, 93,525, from all-time high of 103,081. So, it has been reduced by about 93,000 to 103. This is about 10,000, reduced downwards per quarter. So this is not for a year, per quarter. So an asylum, refugee, it has been reduced by 10,000 within 4 months. Also, the initial asylum backlog also fell. According to the government figures, it's down by 49,000 people, including dependents. So to them, to the Home Office, to people who are anti-immigration, they will say that this is a positive result. You can see that in terms of asylum, the figures, it was at its highest in March 2023. And for over 10 to 20 years, this is the first time that, we have seen a significant reduction. The asylum grant has also fallen to 39%. And almost all those who have refused lodge an appeal. This means there is an appeal backlog. Number of people in receipt of asylum. Like we said, December 2024 was very high. September 2023 was very high. But this number keep declining, keep going down and down and down. Someone will say because of enforcement. Someone will say because UK is no more attractive. Some are arguing that the government is not tough for immigration and therefore the figures are going down. Whatever your argument is, the figures are going down. As to what brought the figures going down, everyone has got their own theory. Now, let's look at British citizenship. British citizenship. The government says that a near record number of grants of citizenship were made. 236,512. But transparency data shows that the work in progress has more than doubled in the year from 54,239 at the last quarter of 2024 to 118,327 at first quarter of 2026. So you could see that now, from last year, there has been a significant increase in naturalization application. Because, one would argue, because of the fuss being thrown by Reform Party and their supporters, and the dangers of being picked up by the mainstream parties, the Labour and the Conservative. And therefore, there is a big rush for citizenship application. Now, let's look at this. Nationals who have applied for British citizenship, and we will look at the grants and those who did not succeed. So Italians in the United Kingdom, 2015, 846 were granted. Equitabian Italians living in the United Kingdom, in 2015, 846 were granted. Fast forward to 2025, 10,604 were granted. So you can see that a lot of Italians are now naturalizing to become British. France, Samedi Soir, in 2015, 725 French nationals were granted British citizenship. In 2025, 3,853, which is an increase of 429%. Italian was 1,153%. Now let's go to Espanol. Española, Spain, 2015, 404, 2025, 3,831, 848% increase. Romania, 2015, 1,674, 2025, 6,780, an increase of 305% increase. Germany, Deutschland, 582 in 2015, 2025, 2,463. Percentage increase is 323%. Now, let's look at from the quarter of 2025 to 2026. Italians, 2,393 in 2025, 2026, 3,451. Romania, 1,566 in 2025, 2026, first quarter, 2,388, 52% increase. Poland, 2025, 1,564, 1,564, first quarter, 2026, 2,323, percentage increase, 49%. France, 894, 2025, first quarter, 2026, is 1,202, 34% increase. Spain, 798, first quarter of 2025, 1,185, first quarter of 2026. Portugal, 623, 1,122, 80% increase. Greece, 669, 2025, 957, 2026, 43% increase. Germany, 569, 2025, 780, 2026, 37% increase. So just by looking at only the first quarter of 2026, 17,508 European nationals, they have been granted British citizenship. First quarter 2025, 11,916 granted British citizenship. So when I sit here and I'm holding another country's passport, and I have not applied for British citizenship, I will suggest that maybe you should think about applying. It's very, very, very important, because at the end of the day, if you don't apply, the benefit of becoming British also goes out of the window. You know, so it's very, very, very important that we don't forget this. Let's take one song, and when we come back, we will go for the skilled worker route and the interviews. I'm just gonna get some water to drink, and we'll be back shortly. So don't go anywhere, bear with us and enjoy this tune.
Mystery war.
Well, we are back again. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Now we are going to be talking about skilled worker visa interview questions and answers and how to prepare best for your interview. After that, we will open the telephone lines for about 15 minutes and then we'll bring the program to an end at 1 o'clock. As you know, the sun is hot. You cannot even think straight, but what can you say? We will still have to soldier on because this is what we have agreed to do, to save our people, come rain or shine. We will be there for you. For the past 2 weeks, I was unable to come to the program because of some issues that I had to deal with, and as a result, I couldn't make the show. But health-wise, I am all good. I'm very, very well. People who were concerned, Mama Boat was chasing me. Hey, lawyer, I haven't heard from you. I hope you are all doing very, very well. Doctor's mother, we are all proud of you. Yesterday, I spoke to you at length. May the God give you the encouragement and the vim, to get on with life. So it's all good. All those who care for us, all those who want us to succeed, all those, who pray for us, who support us, what we do. May the God Almighty God bless you abundantly. So let's carry on with the show. So interviews. Someone will say that, why would the Home Office call me for an interview? There can be so many factors, so many reasons why Home Office call for the interview, but human nature, we tend to think the negative. Sometimes, maybe something has gone wrong, that's why I'm being called for an interview. But I think the best way to approach interview is to think that this is the genuineness test. When I say genuineness test, because it's a chance to sell yourself to the Home Office, to prove to the Home Office that you are genuine. The application that you have submitted is a genuine application. It's not fake. Everything is above board. So some people will call it genuineness interview. It's for you to be able to sell yourself to the Home Office, convince them if they have any doubt about your documentation or anything that you are doing. The interview is a platform. It's an opportunity for you to sell yourself. Very, very important that you do that. Yeah? All right. So now, let's look at this. We know that of late, COS, there has been so many issues with this COS saga because of, nasty people who manage to come into the system to take advantage of people and also to abuse the immigration system. Because of that, it has created a lot of doubt and suspicion in the eyes of the Home Office. And as a result of late, most applications, people are being called for an interview. And if you are called for an interview, the question is, what is it about? What is the structure? What's going to happen at the interview? A whole lot of questions go through people's mind, and rightly so, because you simply don't know what you are going to face. So, Lawyer Darkon, I have done a bit of research into this area, and I'm going to share my findings with you. And hopefully, if you have been called to come to an interview, please, if you have your lawyer, don't call Justice and Law and disturb us and say that I heard you from TikTok. You were talking about interviews. Could you help me out? You go to the person that you pay to help you out, because it's not fair on us to come and waste our time, expecting us to use our time to go through something that it has got nothing to do with us. If you do that, you are not being fair to us. If you are paid a legal representative to do a job for you and you have been asked to come for an interview, go to that legal representative. So you pay the person must do his job or her job. Don't go to a third party and blackmail the third party to intervene in the work of another person. It's not right, it's not fair. And Justice and Law, we will not get ourselves involved in such a situation, because as soon as something goes wrong, people will be pointing fingers, and we don't want that. So we always encourage people to go back to their representatives and seek advice and take it from there. But here, this is a general information that, could help. So basically, the interview is for you to express any, to address any doubt, any suspicion, any concerns that the Home Office may have. Normally, the interview normally takes between 20 minutes to about 45 minutes. The interview. That is if you are upfront. And the interview too, you have the right to request for an interpreter, whether it's Hausa, whether it's Twi, whether it's Ga, whether it's Angulo, whether it's Ewe, whether it's Mampurusi, whether it's Salaga, whether it's how, you know, whatnot. Any language that you are comfortable with, you can actually request for an interpreter. I have had issues with people about the use of interpreter, and sometimes people feel like, no, I can speak English, why would I need an interpreter? If you are comfortable, by all means you can speak English. If you're not comfortable, get an interpreter. It's nothing wrong with getting an interpreter. For me, I believe that getting an interpreter will put you in an advantage position, in the sense that you will understand it better so that you can answer the question better. But if you go into slang and you think you can speak English better than an Englishman, then, you know, by all means you can do that. No one's going to stop you. You hear me? Yes, you have the right to do that. All right, so now let's look at this. When it comes to the interview, it's very, very important that you get yourself familiarized with the job that you are coming to do, with the company that you are coming to work for, the person who interview you, the amount of money that you are going to earn, and where you are going to stay. These are basic stuff that you are expected to know it just like that. So, Home Office interview will normally be centered around these 5 main points: job role and daily duties. It's very, very important. If they ask you for your role and your daily duties, you cannot sit there and say that you don't know. You will only find out once you've come to the UK. Your job role, what you are coming to do. You know, what role are you going to play? Every day, daily, what are you going to be doing? So, for example, I'll give some examples, because I remember someone went for an interview and they asked him this simple question and the person was just talking nonsense. After that, the person could not understand why the application was refused. So, it's very, very important that we understand this. So, job title and, you know, job role. So, for example, if they ask you what is your role, if you look at your COS, it's there. Your role is going to be, or your title is going to be, a religious worker for company A, B, C, D, E. Daily activities. What is it that your duties that you'll be doing on a daily basis? Your job title and what it entails, what you do. So you should be able to look at your certificate of sponsorship. The second page, going to the bottom. Everything is written there. Whether you are coming as a religious worker, whether you are coming as a student, care worker, whatever. As long as it's skilled work visa, COS, you must know your role, what you're coming to do. If you don't know your role, then there's no point. Your interview is not going to work. They will refuse your application. It's as simple as that. Don't say that when you come to the UK, then you learn about the role. No. Before you apply for any position, of course, you need to look at the role, the job role, the description, everything will be there on the what do you call it, work advertisement. So you cannot say that you don't know. Your annual income, how many hours you will work per week. Someone was asked this question: how many hours you work per week? And the person doesn't know. So when you don't know these things, it's very clear for any reasonable person to think that is fake job opportunity. Maybe that may not be the case, but when you put 2 and 2 together, of course, any reasonable person will come out with 4. So it's very, very important. What do you know about your sponsor employer's business? If you are coming to work for any organization, there's a social expectation that you would have done what? You would have looked into this organization. When it was established, what is their aim, their objective, their finances. You must know some basic stuff about this company, where they are based and what they do. So you must be able to know a bit about the business and the employer and people who work in it, especially your line manager, the person that you're going to work with, and the person who interviewed you. Very important. How did you find out and apply for this job? So you are outside the United Kingdom. The job doesn't lap on your ties. You have to find it from somewhere. How did you find it? Through the internet, through a recommendation, through a friend? You need to be able to speak up and say how you got to know it. Because if you're unable to say it, then of course it raises the alarm bells. It rings the alarm bells. Your qualification and skills that made you suitable for this role. So if you have academic qualification and you have practical experiences, this is where you sell yourself. And how does your previous experience relate to this position? So some skills are transferable. So for example, Lawyer Darko, I'm sitting here, I have applied to become, say, a charity worker. And they ask me my qualification. How is it suitable for the job that I've applied? I can then go back and say that, yes, I've been involved in a similar role. I used to work for Croydon Young People's Project back in the days, 1997. No, it's not even 1997. I think 1995. Croydon Young People's Project. I worked for them from 1995 to, I think, 1997. Yeah, 1995 to 1997. That's over 30 years ago. When I was working for this organization, I was working for people who were at risk of offending and those who have offended. And my role is to be a role model to these young people. Give them positivity, help them with their homework. And many of these young people were being raised by a single mama. It's very, very important that a child have both parents in their life, regardless of what has happened, unless they pose a threat. That is only my opinion. So the skills that I learned from speaking skills, persuading skills, going out, to the community, interacting with people, being a positive influence, and maybe doing, donations, or maybe collecting donations for the charity. So I can say that these are all transferable skills. I can also say that the job that I do currently, I meet a lot of people. I meet an Indian, I meet a Jamaican, I meet an African, I meet a Ghanaian, I meet Togolese, you name it. Because of the experience of working with different people, I respect their cultures, their language, their nationality, and if you like, I am more tolerant. And this is a skill that I can transfer to the job that I'm going to do as a religious religious worker. So if you're able to connect what you've done in the past to what you're going to do, you come into the UK to do, voila, it's convincing. But if you're unable to link the two, then you have a problem. If they ask whether you have been refused a visa before and that is the case, say so, and you must know the reason why it was refused. And they will ask whether you intend to apply for settlement after 5 years. But this will depend on your assimilation. This will depend on how you find the United Kingdom. At the moment, your aim is to come for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever the visa duration is. That should be your aim. But circumstances change. and situation change. And definitely, if your circumstances change in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, who knows? And the minimum income that you'll be receiving as your salary, your level of English. So this is where a lot of people get confused. They say that, but you are telling me that it's advisable to get a Twi interpreter, to get a Ga interpreter, and Hausa interpreter, and so on, in an event that I'm called for an interview. Now, why are you saying that you need to be able to show that you have some degree of level of English? The question that I say to people is, have you ever, or do you normally see a German chancellor speaking English? Chinese prime minister speaking English? Russian president speaking English? Italian president or prime minister speaking English? Not because they don't understand English, because they want to be comfortable in their own language, and therefore they want to speak their own language. It's not a crime. Oh yeah, it's not a crime. Because some people are more confident. Some people are more able to make sense by speaking their lingo. And therefore, it's a choice. And I think it's a good choice. That is my opinion. So, for example, in this case, job role and responsibility question. This person was working as a software, or accepted a position as a software engineer with a company, BBC, And his daily duties include delivering back-end services in Python. I don't know what on earth that is. So if you are a religious worker, a charity worker, you can say that I have accepted a position as a religious charity worker, which is a field work. You have to visit churches, care homes, and so on and so forth, to deliver A, B, C, D, and E, and F. And your role include doing A, doing B, doing C, doing D, cooking, shopping, cleaning, evangelizing, baptism, and so on and so forth. You can say that includes your role. The question is, why this role? Why this work? Maybe you have always been interested in doing charity work. Maybe when you were young, your parents abandoned you. A charitable organization took you in. And by the grace of God, you have now become somebody. You want to give something back to society and to the world. And therefore, your thinking have been influenced by charity work. A work that you would do without taking any money, but feeling like I am also giving back something back to the world. Because if it wasn't for the intervention of a charitable organization such as ABC, you will not be here today. I think that will answer the question perfectly. Your experience, you can say the jobs that you have done with other organizations, the skills that you have, and how they are transferable. Salary expectations, salary you must know, because you've been offered a job, they would have written to you how much you are going to earn, and so forth and so forth. You must know them. Your employer details, you must know, because you've done an interview with them, they've given you a position, and so on and so forth. Immigration history, you must tell the truth, and because they have the records there, they can go and check. So this is all that I have for you for today. The weather is hot, and I need to bring the program to an end and activate the telephone lines so that if you wanna call in, then by all means you can call in, and we'll be happy to to answer any question that you may have. If you wanna call us, you can also call us on the mobile number, which is 07538 969 589. We've got only 15 minutes, 1 o'clock sharp. We'll bring in the program to an end. So if you want to call in, I'm ready for those people on WhatsApp and those people on TikTok. I know people were trying to join. I had to concentrate on the show. We are now back, and if you wish to, send an invitation, I will kindly accept you, and for you to bring in any contribution that you may have. If you want to call us on the phone, by all means, you may also do so. The number is 07538 969 589. We've got someone on the phone. Let's take the one on the phone and then we come back to TikTok. Hello, good afternoon.
Lawyer, with your Germany American and far we no kakrana. May one of your clients. Let me be say. Talk to say there, na say no. Na sika say na ebia obi pese ebia otua odai cafe na no menya 4 hours. Ebia otua 500 atoma. Sika say na eni say e form ena da ben ena sika me ye adwuma me nye full time na ebia me nya be 1,500 and 1,600 and 1,300. It's asa time no na sika form. Me pacho what ma say. Tebia me say be 4 hours. Is it can 1,200? Me name say tax no correct one. Nebia obi person otua me dai ka be ya me ba person otua 500, be tua dai ka 600. Say any say sika form account so. Tam be na SF sika form.
Enye ne kware ese any say sika fa account. Sika for account ma enye bone emumra so. Nembum sebi akwakope aban sika agea eho na obebusa questions say na why na ediska tutututuma ode boa wo enti se sai nipa ne betumi aboa wo de a ade na ba beji aban sika. That is it.
Oh, me denye ne cha
onya aban sika de a eno de there is nothing wrong eso bi diska beto account him say fetua rent. Nembum ahweye na ese wo ye baby eska ni free air ba no. Say enipa no e discard to account on a regular basis. Na say nipa no e bia yese wa ye fraud a. On be hwe nipa na account baby o send ni sika ho. Na afi odini musuru aba be fraud. E ho na e betimi be problem aba. Enti no say obi discard to account ma na wa ye careful. Ye wominim Ghana for bebre a omoma enkrofo diska koto to my account ama ya block on my account because what happened is say omom ye fraud no omkoye fraud na omope bi diska na fa enti wo ho a na oba be ka say oh mami me ma obi the £1,000 to account e betoma no transfer 950 a mami now they offer 50 afi na tuma koye ode. Yes, and to one year was say, oh, so with your memory and mean £50 enti, and yes, my country will faculty. Not ne fraud, no, yet your barbetum. Yet the betuma, that's what transfer is cano, 950 a man, no for 50. And tis a single penny a quaction, Nasa or Casse, or your frauder, or the betu account to me now, so I pass your manner. Nasha say, Obi Musu, or the ababa. I prefer problem about. It is Anna.
Nebia me majuma, Nebia me 1,500 say none we are a minia drum yam in your mother dado. A fain and anu mania 4 hours a bay, by almost September near Bema full time. This I know say be a 1,600 in a year. And no dear met me day to say, and no I'm sad man I woke on me yet. Them an phantom because me a missika. And what day mammy made me cofano by it. And what they mammy chia me daika. Or ye juma, Nabia when you're 500, no, they are over time.
What's
No,
it?
they are baby chair.
What's it? One.
What a Bristol.
Oh, okay. I mean, so we do can also PSC come on there. Say, and on your bonnet. I don't see what is wrong with
They
that.
made the tongue for accounts, and you my accounts.
I mean, we do can PSC come on your bonnet. Why?
Nothing so.
Bonivian.
Okay. You.
Okay, and I say.
That's me, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Bruni Benny and Yanwa. Hey. Good afternoon.
What do you mean by Bruni Benny when you're away? Don't start, please.
Say, I sent you the no deal. Menticra. Hey, you.
Lawyer Dark, don't start.
Hey, what's it? It's a before you give us I know. Let me say.
Yami Adumo and I'm sorry.
Yami Adam no more pieball into Yijim.
I said, the pass watch a driving test to get my papa to know Saturday.
Are you good? Because on a
That's where you my doors are reeling in. My comment to be after a dear big one or Kaya. Ayana, Mindin this uncle for Bibri near Baso about speaking your language. Especially when you go to the interview or maybe I am fancy life in UK test and any other thing that is mandatory law for the country. May I say require me life in UK test. The first one I failed. It's a mechanical. Now me failing na mentiasi because I don't see why I have to fail. And I was asking God why. This is just a 24 questions. Why should I fail? Emuno Pepe Funa Wumpini, they all pass. I don't know my year the year pass. Oh, my woman to block. How did it pass? Lawyer, son, in England, excuse me, but I have no one must set here then shawasun that you can tune it to your own language. Enti woma translate adena ko kasim. So yeah, oka Arabic kasa.
Yeah.
Wa translate adena ko Arabic kasa oti declare.
Yeah.
Enti ano na wo request but me never say wutimi ye ne sa. Enti me fairly the second time no. And no be catch them. So I called them in the office and asked us, yeah, we have it. No other places but Scotland we have it. Na me de kan ho na me ye. Ti me petrol bia me koya na me set me to me country language which is fancy language. 24 to 24 ni ira.
Hey, any we brutal.
Minyane nyina because ba could instead of 24 minya 22.
Oh, okay.
Ti me second one minya 24 ni ira. Nti mayem paniki say ye baby sa obetimi ebisa ebi po na ye ka say na Scotland na ebi po na England you never know. Unless you ask for when you ask let's say be what fine say be new what which is okay.
Yeah.
But do ask because I don't know a boy say me ne wo kabro for edu baby e was me pause because if you are assembly me person make out that language me yes so clear about that but when I speak me language now I don't know yeah my mother accent into no ma me free it's me can ya me person me come to me trust they say I'm roughing now we share you
of course
who are you YouTuber wo go Ghana nduane nyina wo mu GP eto de bia wo mo to nyuma me say hey you go what
is it Chinese for you now too
Chinese for you na to ni na. It's my young bohu, I didn't but Uchieti and Profana, and also come on and mam say a suppressy and down. My young boom, my young slow, Okona failure. And let's say, won't even you can go for the second time. But with second time, no one prepared. Make a year, may driving test. First one, you feel it. Second one, me tell me, pass and go for women on Mary Ataso. But now, me pay when you say, a radima means she will be or ye, papa. Lawyer, you power passing near Gunny.
Allow an eye. Yeah.
Or come and say, Miss come and say. But now my bone by say, radima means she will be papa. Maybe papa now make an yes and me share me crew me, but will be a better my say.
Simple.
In your favor when me and him. Simple. And you go so good. Minya Gani, ya wabet no krum ache. No passing. But passing no for me, I'm to Musa baby or what? A ye, Uncle ye. But oh, passing. It Yamin say you have to move forward. Even when you fail, continue moving forward. As long as 50 times you fail, I don't think it will be 50 times, but as long as you fail, move on forward. The social media, they would say, baby, what the more you way, but
that's right.
Oh, Nina, you ra, at the sun, Naja Farad Nasama walking.
Yes.
They say, no. Who wore British passport in the crown pona, and was so woman 9 8 now, baby. I am to because baby I'm a council lawyer. Now say Scotland for Mrs. Pain. Sanaja Faradi Basso dear. Emani Begu. Scottish is ready to go for independent. Young never support
again.
Woman person but because and your ma or the baban and woman mind. I say, a big good woman, won't be a whole next to chrono. Say, America say, one more pen crop for my woman yet. It's would you put money at the amount? Would you put money at the amount? Would you too money at the amount? Because one more pen crop for my bebois. Now, one more should be my bebois. Now, if I can't one on Babon Bino, Ube Piano, so one money, basic form. It is a say, baby, a year too many now. What just a woman near mix now, some more kind indefinite, independent, not yet forces on call. Then you have one for you, lawyer, master man.
Edo CP.
I am Sister Papa, I am Sister Papa.
Yeah.
Wow, why? Takana ya wants to shoot to 2 years before.
Yeah, some more.
Okay. Lawyer, come up, be swapping.
Edo I see. Bye bye for now. I like this why she oh Tiba no why the fast now kono bi aba for the cream freezy Allah wallahi yeah some more okay yeah okay hey yeka okay, one more good so no with media to so no say free be more and phone that freeze cry. Anyway, it's all good. Yeah. And you know okay, yanko TikTok. Hello.
Nana ma bet be akaso. Lawyer na mfrao. Me pa mcho mi chechi mo. Good afternoon lawyer Dako.
Good afternoon to you. Na bibia boko wadi.
Nyame adumo. Auntie awo so mi chia why. La Dako me de anya bibia o me fru be chia o.
Me amenitia.
Me from a chair because next week we know appointment into no be me.
So okay, no problem.
No, my cousin back no problem kaka but me nim say me to week or her na say next week be ba na ma cancel there I don't know.
And ka bank be better. Why?
Me know appointment on the 11th. Today we ba ni akasa why.
Okay, no worries. But that's it.
Down here.
Nyame adom me ho ye papa.
Catch a queen say me chia no pa why.
Mati, make catch you. Okay, bye. Okay. But your mwana more phone this no. mbetimi asai afre why am say phone freezy maybe kana be go su be but it's all good. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Kwajo say mayor Overhampton. Bibia boko there. O voice ni wo low pa mi ma de kurenti a. O be on phone na mai. Busawai no my voice na ka akosro kakra kasa memem.
Odi your friend say odi look me buy o me care and buy na obo bedu e dem se na adwuma no still some the buy no man ho adwuma ase na adwuma ase o buy kwa the office where no where to be found in here dem say e ma be ma no e yi ma be ma no call e fa the baby say catch the even say what to baby fa enti no ase oba de nan de mo na ase ukushia ma bi ma me o free you na ma me so beti na ji na film no mo ya free the comfort food ena the dependent to ena no we are saying issue na last year the man 90 days say 60 days to say on free enti no was in my south say because they say the yamia the boy nya can come to the view on almost so big every year is QS number that's all the way defender you know quite people who say a bit no I was in my south
A bit depend the time obi were kromua unim date obi were kromua
but or buy any more than I think we'll come back 2 years.
Or come back 2 years. You're not sure of the date. Why? Because 2014, 2024, I won't make an announcement to be. I said we are dependent. Untimi enflip on our own switch. Now me from my memory, no, I say that was somewhere in April 2024. And we make his announce either 2024 2025. And to make us a word up and then can say text it exact date in the brain. Any occupation and any crew no. Then I can look it up for you. Maybe spend my wrong information, not knowing these facts. Why? Okay, and that's it. Bye bye.
But if there was a the office of I was up the because last week
or Tata. No.
But you make it this Manchester
date of entry, any occupation or why. Then I need the type of work, job title. Why? To be honest, me to be in Kai. 1 year pepe say to me send me text here. I will look it up and I'll be able to confirm it for you. Why? Okay, no worries. Why? That's it. Yeah. Cheer for a yabo pa to buy embryo. I'm tiano. You did you know? Aye, my break rabbit, you are easy. You did you know the year? Yada masipi next week nyame de chair ye besa idea abebi edison pano idea abremo enti no bi kai
lawyer me patrol
okay
now settings no still on your young enti me share
oh any settings ne dey just me for no actually me hunu so already jam what is here okay me fro later on now I change this here na Yeah, TikTok no more be home at school copa. And easy.
I mean, I was so worried. I don't know why, but for one reason, I was very, very worried.
So when you mean I'm a men's robe or some, we are saying, I know a coma. Hey, Obia, Obeba Justice and Low Kita Kuma Pebia. I'm telling you, Nebre and your quada. I say this with authority because we in the America. So, okay, no worries. You should be your phone in. Bye. Okay, that's it. Therefore, you're the most here. You ever saw baby in this week. Nyame enka obi biara ho. Mofa nyumwe e twa na ase. Mofa chicho mo re. Mofa ti mo hofo. Misumi ho anfanoma. Oboba je adofo. So brought to you by Justice and Law Solicitors, Unit 35B, 49 April Road, Brixton, London, SWT 1BZ. Our telephone number is on there, 0207 993 5976, 075389 969 589. Yadama say, the Shabuna, Yamiko Biao, Mama, au revoir. Mammy, Yami, who are here? We'll come with us watching. Ebi pa oba woni bia ne nkwa na yetia. Aye bi ebe ko.
Thank you.